everybody, it's Taylor here today, and I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce you to one of our collections called On the Right Track, and also walk you through how I created this little spinner card where my cute little bee kind of spins within that track. So first, before I walk you through the card, I want to tell you a little bit more about these products. In June, we released these two items, On the Right Track Basics and On the Right Track Build-A-Scene. And they are tracks designed to help you make different images move within your card. We released some things like sailboats and a fishing boat and some other cute things like a scooter to go right along those basics tracks. Now, if you picked up the Build-A-Scene track or you're wondering what this one is about, these were designed specifically to follow the line of our existing Build-A-Scene rolling hills and Build-A-Scene mountaintops. So if you wanted to cut a track into the mountaintop and let's just say have a critter kind of tumbling down the mountaintop, that's what these are for. And then the basics includes just the basic shapes that you would use maybe to put a vehicle on a straight line, or maybe a hot air balloon or something to go up within that little swirly one. So lots of different options with both sets. And we are now adding to the collection with our On the Right Track heart. So that includes the heart-shaped die for Valentine's Day. And then also I had a little extra room in the center, so I included another partial circle there just for different things. I'm sure you can find some use for it. And then we have our 1 in a Bazillion stamp set. So all of the images in this set were designed to work with tracks. So all of these are kind of movable elements. You have the bee and the whale, the cute little elephant, the hot air balloon, and then the rocket. So that's what we have in our On the Right Track collection. And we also, when you build these spinner cards, one of the things you're gonna need are these On the Right Track discs. Now I know a lot of people use pennies for their slider and spinner cards, which is totally fine if you want to keep using those. These are just a little bit lighter weight option, a little bit better if you want to mail your card. And I do actually think that these move a little bit better than pennies because they're not quite as heavy. So whatever image you put on the front of them tends to spin and slide just a little bit better. Plus, they're really not that expensive. So let's get started then with the project. So here it is again, just to refresh your memory. And my little guy just kind of spins. I just can't get over him. I just keep spinning him because he makes me happy. So we are gonna start with, I have, of course, a sugar cube card base. I'll set that off to the side for now. And then I'm using one of the patterns from our new Playful Patterns paper pack for Valentine's Day. I'll bring that in and show you some of the different patterns in there. So there's lots of cute ones with a fun Valentine color combination. And all of our pattern paper is printed to match our solid cardstock, so you'll never have to worry about finding the perfect match with those. So that's the paper pack I'm using, and I have pre-cut that heart track just right in the center of my paper there. I'm gonna start by stamping my sentiment in the middle. We are eventually going to pop up this entire piece, and so that's why I'm starting with stamping the sentiment, because after you get that foam tape on the back, it's a little bit difficult to do that. So there we have 1 in a Bazillion. Now the next step is I'm just gonna lay this piece, center it onto my card base where I want it. And then on my original card, you'll see that I wanted the heart to stand out a little bit, so I added the heart track to the base of the card in a different color. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some adhesive on the back of this. I have just my Scotch adhesive runner. It's my favorite if you're looking for an adhesive runner. Okay, so with that kind of held in place with one hand, I'm going to take and position that track right inside. Of of the die cut portion. So then you should be able to still remove this. We didn't put any adhesive on the back, and that's going to be our place marker for when we go to adhere this piece down to the card base. So the next step I'm going to take is actually to build the discs, the element that's going to help this little guy spin. So I'm going to bring in my On the Right Track discs. You will need 2 of them every time you make one of these. It kind of depends on the size of your image too, but for this one we're going to need 2, and it really doesn't matter if they're the same color because you'll see in my design here that you don't end up seeing the colors. So don't worry about matching those up unless you really have to have them matching. You certainly can do that. So next I have these Pop Dot adhesives. These are the ones that we carry at the Tailored Expression store. They are 1/4 inch square, circle, which is perfect for fitting right inside our 1/4 inch tracks. And these here are kind of thin, so I'm actually going to use 2 of them. I'm going to take one out and put it down onto my disc. And then take that adhesive backer piece off and grab another one and just put it right on top. So that gives us a little bit of extra dimension to help him roll around in the track a little bit better. Now, if you have our discs, you might notice that one edge has a lip on it and the other is flat. So what I like to do on my projects is sandwich the 2 lips together so that the 2 outer pieces are flat. So I'm going to remove the adhesive there. Now, one way you can do this is go ahead and put it into your track right now, just like this. You can see that piece moves back and forth right where you want it, and then you can sandwich your piece on top, just like that. And then you can see, kind of move it around, and you can see that it just travels right along nicely. Now, the thing about this particular track is that it creates kind of a floppy piece here in the middle. We're going to end up obviously adhering that down, but one other option is to create your disc portion here, and then because you can still move this, you can go ahead and slip it in after you've adhered those 2 discs together. So there are a couple different ways you can put the spinner option in there. Now, one other thing I want to mention, if you want your item to spin around like the bee does, then you want to use the circular foam dots in the center. If you just want your bee or whatever element it is to travel straight along the track, like let's say you're doing a scooter, I don't think you would want your scooter to tumble. That would be bad. So you would want to use a square foam in the center of your disc so that it does not turn, it just moves straight. So that is one other piece of advice that I have. Now we're going to take our little bee that I have colored up already, and I'm going to take one more piece of foam here, put it on top of my disc, and then I'm just going to stick my little bee on there, and he is ready to go. Now, it is still a little floppy in the center, but you can play with it now and just make sure that it moves freely throughout. The next part of our project is to add foam tape to the back of this. Now, I would suggest using something a little bit thicker so that there's room for that piece on the back there to move within the track. I am using our 1/8 inch thick foam tape. We also sell a 1/16 inch foam tape, and I use that more for just general popping up things on my card. This particular thickness I use if I'm creating shaker cards or these spinner or slider cards. So these rolls are really nice because you can obviously just choose how much you want by cutting off the appropriate amount. The 1/8 inch roll comes with 18 yards and it's $12.50, and the 1/16 inch roll comes with 36 yards and it is $25. So one of the things we want to make sure when we're doing our foam taping on the back is, one, that we get it sturdy enough by putting enough foam tape on that we don't have any floppy portions. The other thing is, as you see this disc travel along the heart, you want to make sure that you aren't putting any foam tape too close to the edge of the track. If I had put this very much closer, then my little disc would run into the foam tape and it wouldn't slide. So those are a couple things you want to be aware of as you're putting down your foam tape. I'm just going to do a couple more pieces here. Now these edge pieces, I'm going to go ahead and cut my foam tape just vertically here. And then I will have two pieces that are a little bit thinner. And that is what's going to fit right here along the edge. And again, you can move that little guy up and just see that, yep, he looks good. He's not running into anything up there. And then I have one more piece at the top and a couple in the middle, and we should be good. This guy might have gotten a little bit big, so we're gonna go like this. All right, I'm gonna do one more, just travel around the track and make sure that everything's okay here. Looks good. Now I'm gonna remove the backing from this foam tape, which I love because it is so easy. The only difficult part is when the backing sticks to your fingers. After you peel it off, it has that static cling and it just won't let go. But it is really easy to get underneath the backing, which I like. And now I'm going to bring my card base back in here. I'm going to flip this guy over, and I found with the heart that it's helpful to get the center of the heart in place first. Once you put this foam tape down, it does not want to come back up, so just fair warning there. And then we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this put down. There, perfect. And now you should be able to move your little bee within that track. Sometimes it helps to get him started, and there could be a few little places where he catches, and then you can just kind of rub over those places until he gets this little spot up here he doesn't like. So there he goes. All right. So now you know how to put together a spinner and a slider card. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I put together the rest of this card, and I hope you guys all have a great day. You can find all of the products that I used today at tailoredexpressions.com. Have a great day, guys.